YouTube? This is your boy Trevor Speaks. Right now I want to talk to you guys about Black Lightning, Season 1, Episode 7, Equinox, the Book of Fate. It's said to be pretty lit. Guys, so right now we're seeing Anissa and her mother, Lynn, go at it a little bit. Because as we saw, Anissa's already healing relatively fast, due to her superpowers. It's really crazy to see that. And Lynn is telling her, like, you need to stop this right now. You can help the city, you can help Freeland just being a social activist and a doctor, not by being some superpowered vigilante. And even Anissa said, listen, all this time Dad was talking about Dr. King and nonviolence, but he's been Black Lightning this whole time. Now, see, what really shocks me is I was under the impression that the kids already knew that their father was a Black Lightning. Just from the flashbacks, of seeing their father bent up and stuff like that. So I was under the impression that maybe they knew he was Black Lightning, but they were just keeping it under wraps. So this is pretty surprising to know that they didn't know that he was Black Lightning. Ooh, ouch. She got you there, Lynn. So Jennifer says, so Anissa says, can you stop a bullet? Can you shoot lightning out of your hands? And Lynn says no. She said, then how could you possibly understand how I'm feeling? And I'm like, damn, she's kind of getting it right there. She's right. Lynn is just an ordinary mortal human being, just like everyone else. So how could she possibly understand what it's like to have powers? Alright, so while at Gamby's, Jefferson is just looking out into space. And Gamby's pretty much telling Jefferson, okay, look, those guys that were at Lynn's office were some high-tech burglars, guys that always get the highest paid technological stuff, and they sell it off to the highest bidder. They've been doing this for quite some time. Once they pull a job, they're off to the next city, and they're probably gone. That's what Gamby is telling Jefferson right now. And obviously, also Gamby's telling him, like, listen, there's no way you knew that was Anissa, so, you should stop beating yourself up over it. But of course Jefferson can't do that because that's his own daughter. That's his own flesh and blood right there. Like, he can't believe he actually did that. He actually put hands on his daughter. But it's the fact that, now it makes him a hypocrite. He's taught his kids how to be nonviolent, to control their emotions, to control their anger, to be pacifist, to be peaceful, just to be social protesters, things of that nature. I'm trying to have skills to associate themselves and contribute and attribute to their social activism. Nissa, in this case, I guess, to be upright citizens of Freeland and then some. And for him to put his hands on his daughter and, resort to violence makes him a huge hypocrite. So I can understand why Jefferson feels bad on those two fronts. So Jefferson goes off on Gamby because he's wondering, okay, why the hell didn't you tell me that Tobias is back? And Gamby said, just to protect you from yourself. You see, he really didn't know, and things of that nature. So he said, protect you from Jefferson's like, wait a second. So wait, you want to protect me from Tobias? He said, no, from yourself, because I didn't want you to do something that you would regret for the rest of your life. And believe me, trust me, that will happen. Like, there's something you can't get away. That's something you can't get away from. And obviously, Tobias whooping on somebody in a cage. I guess just breaking up a sweat or something like that. Something else. So now this guy that Tobias knocked out came back up and just socked Tobias. But now Tobias is going to have to drop the guy. Tobias really, I think the guy that Tobias was fighting was injected with the same stuff that Tobias may have. Or some, I guess you could say some artificial form of it, Probably green light, who knows? Or a more controlled version of green light. Now we see Lynn and Jefferson down at the police station, Lynn's giving the description of the men that she saw, but she can't really remember exactly who and what they actually looked like. You ever notice that she's always wearing like a fur coat, Lynn is? That's pretty nice. I'm just saying, I've noticed that. So the detective's asking her all kinds of questions. Now, mind you, Lynn's also going to have to protect her daughter because her daughter was in fact there. So Jefferson and Lynn are leaving the police station, and the detective asks Jefferson a question like, are you sure the 100 aren't trying to send you a message? And to which Jefferson replied saying, Jefferson said, okay, well, why would the 100 try to send me a message? I'm just a principal. The detective's like, yeah, sure. Jefferson, we all know that you're more than just a principal. Which has me implying, wait a minute, does the detective know that Jefferson's Black Lightning? Like, that's what I'm implying. But we all know that Jefferson stood up for one of his students earlier in the season against one of the 100's lieutenants. So maybe that's what the detective was getting at. But now Lynn and Jefferson are talking about Anissa and her powers, and Lynn of course, doesn't want her daughter out here fighting crime like Jefferson. However, Jefferson feels like, well, maybe you should let me train her, you know. But then again, Jefferson doesn't want to do that because he doesn't want his daughter to, get hurt or anything of that nature. So that's completely understandable. Okay, so Lynn and Jefferson, they're gonna try to test Jennifer too to see if she has powers because honestly, they're both afraid for their children. And now we see Jefferson, in classroom trying to talk to students, so then that way, trying to tell him to control his anger because these kids would keep picking on him and things of that nature. Pretty much, the typical thing whenever kids pick on a guy or a kid, they want the kids to realize that, hey, you don't have to resort to violence, just control your anger. That's all you have to really do. So now Jefferson's getting a tip from the detective. It's pretty much, so Jefferson got a call about Anissa's, first night out as a superhero because she had destroyed that Confederate statue. Not the detective didn't condone it, but she just can't go around knocking things over and breaking them either. So Jefferson, pretty much the detective asks Jefferson if he knows of anyone else in Freeland with superpowers. Jefferson, of course, says no, and this is what it leads to. So they're wondering, okay, who the hell is this girl doing this stuff? And I guess this is where the training between Jefferson and Anissa starts, because we saw in the trailer that it definitely goes down. Okay, so now Anissa's talking to her father right now about her wanting to be a superhero. She wants her father to train her so then that way she can be a better asset to Freeland to stop the 100 from doing dangerous things to the city and things of that nature. So Anissa tells Jefferson about how she got her grandfather's box about missing children and people with enhanced abilities. And Jefferson got mad at her because she said, giving your mother that box was reckless and disdain and selfish because, without giving her all the full details. Because that's what put Lynn in the situation that she was in last week. And now we see Lady Eve doing her thing, in terms of prepping her body for. I forgot that she's a mortician, and now Gambi is talking with her right now. Ooh, scandalous Lady Evelyn Eve. I gotta say, man, like now she's telling Gambi to off to Joey Toledo, Tobias' right hand man, because Gambi went in there fired up, saying that Tobias is like his head's gotten too big. He thinks he runs the city and things of that nature. So we already know what's about to go down. Gambi has to kill Joey Toledo so then that way he can give Tobias a message to be more careful and not be so loud. I mean, because he's making a damn nightclub, for Christ's sake. A nightclub, y'all. A nightclub. Oh, I gotta say, y'all, because this is crazy. So now this is going to start a whole all-out war, because Gambi came in there wanting to calm Tobias down because, this will destroy their whole ecosystem. And as Lady Eve told Gambi, listen, like, ecosystems are out of control. So, we gotta clip his wings somehow. We have to send him a message. We have to kill his right-hand man. So that way So Lynn, advises Anissa, listen, every time you go out there and put on that suit, you realize that you run a risk about losing your life and losing the side of yourself. How many times, have you talked to anyone outside of your family? Because it's being a vigilante and a hero is a very risky job. You run the risk of dying, you run the risk of your family members, someone you care about getting hurt, and then some. So that's all Lynn was really telling Anissa, like, listen, before you put that suit on, just think about, what's at stake. And now she's going back to David Poe, that's the editor-in-chief, her grandfather's right-hand man. And now she's knocking on the door, but he's not there. Which is really strange. Looks like he left or something. Vanessa went to go see David Poe, her grandfather's right-hand man, chief editor of the newspaper, and it turns out he died a couple days ago from a hit and run, cutting off her link to more information about what her grandfather was up to. So now we see Gambi going up into Tobias' nightclub. Gambi kills a couple of Joey Toledo's guys. Now, Gambi's going to go up in there and kill Joey Toledo, again, to calm Tobias down, so then that way he won't get, so then that way his ego won't be even more inflated and pretty much obstruct, what their ecosystem, what they brought, what Gambi and Lady Eve has brought up for years, This is why Gambi had to kill Joey Toledo, so then that way Tobias would get the message and to, and stop being so loud and flashy, so to speak. Alright, so now Anissa comes home and she realizes, she just told Jefferson why she was upset. And now Jefferson goes to Gambis and goes to Lynn and tells her, listen, you need to make sure that, listen, Anissa's always been really stubborn, so we need to make sure she's not going to give up on being a vigilante or a hero to save Friedland, so you need to train her, do something. So that's actually a good thing. Alright, so now, Tobias' sister just gave Tobias the news that Joey Toledo is dead. He just got his ashes, and now his sister's telling him, like, listen, you need to get rid of Lady Eve so then that way you can rise to the top of the ladder. You need to get rid of her. And Tobias is like, look, if I do that, then I might as well be buried right next to him. She said, no, not necessarily. So, now I think this is gonna prompt Tobias to go after Lady Eve, his head honcho, his boss. So let's see how that pans out. So Jefferson meets with the detective one more time, and the detective tells him that Joey Taylor took one to the chest, to which Black Lightning said that was my only lead to Tobias, but the detective says, you know what, not necessarily, because Joe Toledo's girl's car was at the nightclub, and he's getting a lot of tickets from there. So, if you go to the nightclub, you'll find Tobias there, and you can take him out from there. So then Lynn tells Peter, like, I know you care about Jefferson, so keep him safe. So now we see Peter designing Anissa's suit. It's actually going to be pretty cool. Oh my goodness. So now we see Black Lightning at Tobias' club. Tobias is there to get revenge on Lady Eve for Joey Toledo. I gotta say, I love the track that I'm hearing right now. It's really dope. Alright, so now we see Lady Eve and Tobias walking into the club. Black Lightning pops up and blasts Tobias. That's what I'm talking about, bruh. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. An all-out firefight is happening. They're trying to cap Lady Eve, put her in a casket, bruh. This is dope. Oh man, so now Tobias' sister is killed and Jefferson has to live with that. Ah, oh, damn. Oh, crap. Lady Eve gets X'd out, but she goes to the Lieutenant of the 100. That's a pretty smart ass move. Okay, Lady Eve knows how to handle herself, but that's all I got for you guys tonight. LaWanda comes back from the dead? Do you believe in resurrection, Octavius? And now her spirit goes into a tattoo in the form of Lady Eve. Yo, this is dope. This must be Lady Eve's special power. I know this is a pretty dark video, but this is your boy Chase Speech. Make sure you guys, hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys have any questions or whatever you guys have about the video or the episode, let me know in the comment section below. If you guys have any suggestions, let me know in the comment section below as well. This is your boy Chase Speech. I love you guys. God bless. Be sure to subscribe for more.